Hello everybody, welcome to ZAPTEST webinar. My name is Sergey. On today's webinar we will review reporting of test results in ZAPTEST, options that can be used for reporting, and ways to customize it. Our webinar will consist of three parts. At the beginning I will make a brief introduction to ZAPTEST as a company and products. Then we will have main part, technical part of the webinar, and at the end I will allocate some time for a Q&A session. If you have any questions, please submit them using Webex chat. Address them directly to me, who is host or presenter. All your questions I will review at the end of our session. Okay, first few words about who we are. We have been in the business over 20 years. We position ourselves as a full-stack cross-platform testing solution. With ZAPTEST, you can automate applications on mobile, Windows, Mac, Linux platforms, and we fully support agile development methodology. We are based in Atlanta, Georgia. Our core technology is one script, which allows us to script test procedures once and execute it anywhere. We are the test optimization leaders, which means that with ZAPTEST you can automate any application, you can meet any development schedule, and you can accommodate any skill set of your team members. As a full-stack technology, we provide end-user test automation in a cross-platform fashion. This means that you can create your test script on one platform or environment and play it as is anywhere else. Besides that, we offer other technologies which are not commonly offered in the industry. For example, with ZAPTEST you can auto-generate test documentation. This may offset a lot of man-hours of writing documentation manually. ZAPTEST can help with this. We also have technology for parallel device execution. The MRun ensures just-in-time regression testing. With the MRun, you can connect to multiple devices with different platforms or different browsers and execute same test simultaneously on all of them. We also have device host management private cloud system, which we provide to ZAPTEST users. The farm offers test device management capability and provides universal access to the devices across organization. It can be used for the purpose of mobile application deployment, manual testing, automated testing, and parallel test execution. With ZAPTEST today, you can do API or web services testing. You can use the tool for an API standalone test automation or for building combined API and UI testing framework. Recently, we released the load component, which enables our users to do API performance testing as a continuation of their quality assurance process. As you can see, today ZAPTEST can be used as a one-stop solution for majority of quality assurance needs. Let me move on to the technical part of my presentation. In the process, I will create simple test case, and I will use it as an example to showcase different features and options available for reporting test results. In my test, I will use browser and our website, zaptest.com. This is our website homepage, which is starting point of my test case. I'm going to scan it. I will change name for the application object. For this view, I will keep two objects, one for ZAPTEST logo, another for the login link, and delete all others. On the home page, when I click the login link, it prints the login page. I'm going to scan it next. From this view, I will keep objects that I will use for username and password. I can update logical names for the edit objects. In my test, I will use invalid values for user ID and password, which generates the warning. I want to verify the warning text as part of my test. For this, I will scan this page with the warning message displayed. And from here, I will keep the message for the warning text and the ZAPTEST link to go back to the home page. Okay, now I have test objects that I need to use. I can start building my test script. Let me start with the first view. And here I will pick ZAPTEST object. I will use exist method. This step verifies that my home page is correctly displayed. Then I need to click the login link. On the login page, I need to verify username label. I will use exist method for this. Then I need to enter values for username and password. Username and password values will be parameterized. I will define test data table parameter for those values. After my login step, once the warning message is displayed, I will use this object to verify the warning. I will use exist method. And the last step will click the ZAPTEST link to go back to the home page. So my test is ready. I'm going to save it. And now I can run it. Let me reset the view of my website. Go back to the home page, which is starting point of my test. And to run the test, I just press the run button. After my test execution is complete, I can see test results open in a browser. In the test report, we provide different information. The header part includes general information about my test. You can see name of my test, location of the test project file, date, time, duration of the test run, and summary of steps with different statuses. In ZAPTEST, you can have steps for different statuses: passed, failed, warning, or information. Also, the pie chart will show all the steps with different statuses, respective ratio. For details, when I scroll down, I can see detailed information about individual steps. That includes information about object, name of the view, name of the object, step or operation that was used, parameters or outcomes, status, and images. For image, I need to expand lines. I can click on a line to expand it, or I can press Expand Collapse Rows button to expand them all. If I need to change number of displayed rows, I can select different value in the Show Entries list box. ZAPTEST captures image of individual test objects. This is default behavior, and stores them with corresponding test result line. Okay, let's see what options are available for result reportings. For this, I need to go to the Options dialog. In the Options, I navigate to the Result Reporting. So all the related options can be found here. Right now, I have selected Open Results After Run checkbox. It's enabled by default after ZAPTEST installation. This is what makes ZAPTEST to open test report after test run automatically. For result format, ZAPTEST supports HTML or PDF. In the output format, if I expand it, I can see items for HTML, PDF, or I can select to make ZAPTEST to ask before generating the report. When you run tests for the first time, ZAPTEST will ask you which format you prefer, and it will use it as default. If I need to switch the format, I just need to select different format. In my case, I want to change my format to PDF. Also for PDF reporting, we have a checkbox which will make ZAPTEST to generate PDF file after test execution. I will select this. Also, in many cases, we don't need to have ZAPTEST open test results automatically after each run. For this, we need to uncheck the first option. Okay, I'm going to save my result reporting options with selected elements, and now I will rerun my test. As you see, my test report is not shown automatically. Since I have checkbox selected for generating PDF file, I can find it in the results folder. Any folder can be easily accessible through the Tools menu. If I go to the Open Folder item and select Results, ZAPTEST opens File Explorer with the Results folder. And here I have additional folder with PDF results. If I go to this folder, I can see PDF document which was generated after my last test run. To open it, I just need to double click it, and my report will be opened and displayed using default PDF viewer program available on the computer. So this is how PDF type result looks like. Again, we have summary section with general information about test and all the steps. If I scroll down, I can reach a section where we can see detailed information about individual steps. Images also included here. So this is how a typical PDF test result looks like. Let me go back to the options. And I will switch back to the HTML result format. Okay, second option available here is what we can use to report method execution time. If I select this option and save my options and rerun my test, After this test run, in my test results, which now will open in the browser, I have timing reported for each step. So I can see number of seconds spent on each step execution. So this is what that option controls for the report. If I need to change browser that is used to display test results, once again I can do this through the options. This time I need to go to the general section, and here we provide a way to select default browser used by ZAPTEST. If I expand the list box, I can see that we have system default and list of browsers that are installed in the system. Right now I have selected system default, and on my computer system default is the Chrome. This is why I have all my test results displayed in the Chrome browser. Let me go back to the result reporting section. Next feature that we can use here is to capture full screen screenshots. Sometimes it's more convenient to see a screenshot of your monitor and have objects selected on it. So let me save this option with the checkbox selected and run my test again. Now I can open test result, expand steps, and you can see that for each step I have a full screen captured and test object selected like this. This is object that I use in my first step to verify ZAPTEST logo. This is my login object, username label object, edit fields for username and password, and the warning message. So this is how it works capturing full screenshot. Let me go back to my options. You should understand with this option selected, the test result may grow big because there are too many images stored with the test result. So it's not always practical to keep this way of capturing the images. This is why we have this option unselected by default. So ZAPTEST will capture images of individual test objects. If you need to capture screenshot at particular moment of your test or page of your application under test, in ZAPTEST we provide special methods for this. Let me demonstrate it. You can use capture bitmap method with application, view, or any standard object. With the application, you need to use application object. And from the list of methods, I will select capture bitmap. For the view, I'm going to use view object and also select the capture bitmap method. For a particular test object, I need to have the object. In my case, I'm going to use the object for the warning message and also use capture bitmap method. Okay, let me run this version of my test. Let me open test results. I'm going to expand rows to view test object images. And here you can see captured screenshot of my application object, login. This is captured screenshot or bitmap for my view. And this is for the warning message object. For view and application, we have identical images captured, So it doesn't matter which one to use. You can use either application or view object if you need to capture the whole page screenshot. Okay, let's review other options that are available through Options dialog. Report steps element lists what steps can be used to report results. By default, you have all steps selected, but optionally you can select errors and warnings or only errors. So this way you will have details for the steps that correspond to selected step statuses. Next feature controls how we report images. And here you can also select either for all steps, errors or warnings, only errors, or you can select never, so images will never be captured and stored with the test results. Next element shows us location of the results folder. You can open this folder directly by clicking the Open button. It will display a file system dialog with the results folder. If you need to change folder for the results, you can press Change button and browse for the new folder. Okay, let me close the Options dialog. The next feature that I want to demonstrate is how we can output custom information to the test result. And for this we use Custom Report step. Let me add a few custom report steps to my test script. First of all, I will use my first step as part of the if statement. So if ZAPTEST object exists, I can use custom report step to indicate that my navigation is successful. For custom report step, we can use either application or view. I can simply drag the application object and select custom report method. With this method, we can specify first argument which will control status of the custom report step. For past, I select or type true value. Second argument is the name of the step. I will use homepage for the name. Next argument can be used for detailed information about the step. The last argument can be used for capturing screenshot. If I specify true, ZAPTEST will capture the screenshot of the application and store it with the test results. To report opposite outcome, I can also use custom report step. Only here I will change its status. False value of the first argument will report failed step, and I can modify the step details. Okay, I will define another custom reporting step for my warning message verification. Okay, I will flag it as failed, so I type false value for the first argument. Name of the step will be login, and for details I can provide and of course I can include name of the test user account. For this I need to use value from my data table parameter. Let me define last argument as true, so it will capture the screenshot. And now I can run this version of my test. In the test results, I can review custom reporting steps. This is the first one: name homepage, details, and screenshot of the application under test, since I enable it using the last argument. The status of the custom reporting step is passed. The second one, for the login step, has failed status. It provides information about the user in the details, and it also includes the screenshot of the application. In ZAPTEST, you can define different statuses, not just passed or failed. It supports warning and information also. If you need to use those statuses, you need to change name of the method. Let's say I want to output my first custom report using information status. For this, I need to change custom report name to custom report EX. And with the first argument, I can specify number of the status. We use 4 numbers to provide statuses. Number 1 will be passed, number 2 will be failed, number 3 will be warning, and number 4 will be information. So I type number 4. For my second custom report step, for the failed login, I don't want to report it as failed. Instead, I want to report it as warning. For this, again, I need to change custom report name to custom report EX and provide number 3 for the warning status. Let me run this test to review updated statuses. As you see, I don't have any failed steps. Instead, I have warning for my failed login step, custom report step, and information for my homepage step. And my pie chart changed its color respectively. Okay, let's see what happens, how a report changes if we run our test multiple iterations. In my data table, I will define second test user parameter. When we have multiple rows of test data populated, same test will be executed with multiple iterations. So now I have 2 test user accounts, and my test will run 2 iterations using different user account on each iteration. Let me open and view test result. Okay, now you see that detailed part of my test script includes 2 iterations, iteration 1 and iteration 2. My both iterations have pass status. This is because I don't have any failed step. If I would have at least one failed step within my iteration, the iteration will change its status to failed. So by default, ZAPTEST provides two statuses to the iteration, passed or failed. Of course, for detailed information about steps, I need to expand the iteration section, and here I have access to the individual step details, including all the images. Sometimes it's useful to provide additional information to the iteration, so when we have test results, large number of iterations, we can output information directly on the iteration level. How we can change iteration name? In ZAPTEST we provide a report namespace for this. Let me define it in the first step. To access that namespace, I need to type ZAP, expand it to the report. And here I can select set iteration name. For the iteration name, I will use login with and include test user account, which is a data table value. Also for the iteration, when we use this set iteration name method, we can specify custom status. Let's say I want to report this iteration with the warning status. For this, I need to use number 3, which is standard number for the warning in ZAPTEST. Okay, let me run this test again. After this test execution, I have my iteration name changes. Now it includes name of a test user account and new status, warning. Sometimes in our test we need to group our steps by logical meaning to provide better reporting view, and for this we can define custom reporting steps. Let me demonstrate this. My test can be broken into 3 logical parts. First, we'll include steps for navigation to the login page, then we perform login with the user account, and last section will include steps to go back to the home page. So I will define 3 reporting sections. Again, we can do this by accessing a report namespace. From the list of methods, I will select start section, and I need to specify name of the section. I will use login navigation. Same name should be used in the stop section. I want to stop first section after we verify the username on the login page. For this, I need to insert the end section method and specify same name that I used with start section. Immediately after that, I will start new section. This section will have name login, and I can include user ID. Okay, this entire name should be used in the end section step, which I want to position here. Okay, let me define my last reporting section. Homepage navigation. Okay, so these are three sections that I defined. Let me save my test and run it. And we'll see how my test result changes. Okay, in my test result, I now have subsections that belong to iteration section. So once I expand iteration, I can see custom reporting sections that I defined in my test script. Login navigation, login with user, and homepage navigation. To view step details, I need to expand corresponding section. And only after that I will see detailed information about steps that make that section. And that of course includes all the images. ZAPTEST also includes information steps that show how many custom report sections were included in each upper section. If you don't want to have it, you can turn it off. For this, in the step definition, you need to include optional argument, second argument false. By default, it's true. Also, sometimes you need to report custom status for the section. At any point, we can change name of the current section. Let me go to the report namespace. For this purpose, we use set active section name. If I don't want to change its name, I need to keep the same name as it was used in the start section step. But now I can specify custom status of the section, which will override default section status, which can be either passed or failed. So for my first section, I want to use information status, so I put number 4. And for my second, let me define step. Again, it should have the same name as it was. I'm sorry, it's wrong position. Let me move it. It should be before we end section. Okay, and for this, I'm going to use warning status, so I use number 3 here. Okay, let me use this optional argument on all my custom reporting sections. So on the second one, it's here, and on the last one, it's gonna be here. Okay, let me save and run my test once again. I still have 2 user accounts in my data table. So my test runs 2 iterations and reports 2 iterations. Let me open and view test results. Okay, now under my iteration section, I can see custom reporting steps. No longer those informational steps are displayed. And also I can see updated or new status for my custom reporting steps. So this is my login navigation with informational step. This is my login with user section with warning status. And the homepage navigation, I did not override its status. It shows what comes from the execution. Since all steps passed, my section status also passed. If you decide to change name of the section, you can do this with the same set active section name. You just need to specify different name for the section, and you can do this as many times as you need throughout the test. Keep in mind that end section should still match the name of your start section. So this is a very useful, very convenient feature for big and complex tests. All right, this concludes my technical presentation part. Let's move on to the Q&A session. If you need to submit your questions, once again, use the WebEx chat. Address your questions directly to me. Okay, I have one question came in. Can we generate HTML report after generating PDF? Yes, thank you for your question. Yes, we can do this. In order to switch format, like I said, you can go to the result reporting option and simply select new output format. So I switched from HTML to PDF, and since I still have my test loaded in the ZAPTEST and the open last result button still available, I can simply press this button to get my test result in a new format. So this is my test report in PDF format. If you need to change format for historic test results, once again, you need to select new format in the options. Then you need to find your test result. It's a ZRE file. You need to go to the results folder. You need to find it under the results folder. You don't need to go to PDF results. So once you locate which, let me sort it differently. Okay, these are my few historic test results from today's webinar. And once I double click it, ZAPTEST will use selected format to display it. And for PDF, it will create PDF file. You can find it in the PDF results folder, subfolder of the results folder. And once again, I can see my test result in a new format. Okay, let me switch it back. And from now, I can press this button to open last result, or I can regenerate it from the historic result file, and it will display in a new selected format. So this is how I can do this. Okay, I have another question. How to secure password values? Okay, very good question. Thank you. I understand that you mean that you need to secure or hide used password values from the test results. Yeah, this is a very good point, because sometimes we don't need to share any information that ZAPTEST used to type as values. In ZAPTEST, we use a special method for this. First of all, you can encrypt values that you used to type. It can be encrypted from the script itself, or you can use data table encryption feature. Let me remove one line of data, and to encrypt, you just need to point to the cell and select encrypt cell menu. So this is encrypted value of my password. Now when I run this test, my test results will include that encrypted value, although ZAPTEST will type actual value in the edit field. Okay, let me find the step where I do login. Yeah, you can see that in my edit password step, there is encrypted value in the test results. Keep in mind that anyone who has ZAPTEST may simply copy this value and use it with the ZAPTEST type method to see what the actual value is, because ZAPTEST will unencrypt it during the typing operation. If you need to completely hide it from the end users who will receive the test results, you need to use hide text method. Let me demonstrate this real quick. Okay, this is the step where I type my password. To use that method, I need to use ZAP namespace, and in the list of methods, I select hide text. Okay, and I need to hide what's been typed as a password. Okay, let me run this test one more time. After this test run, if I go to my login step, all I can see is this. So ZAPTEST completely hides the value of the password. Alright, so this is basically all the features that you can use to protect sensitive information used during the test run. So this will conclude my webinar. Appreciate your time. Feel free to use our forum, submit your forum posts. We will answer. If you have any comments, if you have any ideas for future webinars, you can also use forums on our website. Again, thank you very much for joining. Have a great day. Goodbye.